In 1966, Adelaide was the kind of city where parents routinely left their front doors open to catch the summer breeze. Children would leave home at dawn, roam the neighborhoods freely, and return only when the streetlights flickered on. On the morning of January 26th, Australia Day, 9-year-old Jane Beaumont and her younger siblings, Arna and Grant, packed their towels and caught the 10 a.m. bus for the short ride to Glenelg Beach. Their mother watched them walk to the corner, expecting them back for lunch. They were expected home on the noon bus. When they didn't arrive, Nancy Beaumont figured they had simply lost track of time. But when the 2 o'clock bus came and went empty, mild concern turned into panic. By 3 p.m., she and her husband were scanning the heavy beach crowds, asking strangers if they'd seen 3 children traveling alone. By nightfall, dozens of patrol cars were circling the streets with loudspeakers. Search and rescue boats swept the coastline with spotlights, and police cadets scoured the sand dunes, marking the beginning of a manhunt that has never officially ended. That search started over half a century ago. Yet as recently as 2025, investigators were still drilling through industrial concrete floors in Adelaide, desperately looking for these specific children. By that evening, the open-door policy of suburban Adelaide was over. The search for Jane, Arna, and Grant had become a national fixture, an effort that would consume thousands of leads and outlive the 20th century. Police reconstructed the day through over 1,000 witness tips. The children arrived at the beach safely and spent the late morning playing in the sprinklers at Collie Reserve, a grassy park bordering the sand. Multiple witnesses noticed a tall, thin-faced man in his 30s or 40s approaching Rung. Initially sunbathing nearby, the blonde stranger slowly integrated himself into the children's games until it appeared they were all there together. Witnesses recall the man claiming Jane's change purse had been stolen, then helping her find her things. Jane was notoriously shy, yet a short time later, she allowed this stranger to help her put her clothes on over her swimsuit, a sign that he had successfully manufactured a crisis to gain her trust. Around midday, the children were seen at a bakery. Jane paid for lunch using this, a 1-pound banknote. Her mother had given her just 8 shillings in loose coins. Jane had no way of possessing a 1-pound note unless the stranger gave it to her. That high-denomination note points to a cold calculation. The suspect used cash to buy the children's compliance, successfully removing them from a public beachfront without a single person noticing they were in danger. Despite the massive scale of the investigation, police found no physical trace of the siblings. This lack of evidence created an information vacuum that was quickly filled by media noise and opportunists. In late 1966, a Dutch psychic named Jared Croiset claimed he had a vision of the children buried under a local warehouse. Public pressure grew so intense that a citizens' committee raised the funds to tear up the building's concrete floor. They dug 15 feet deep and found nothing. In 1968, Jim and Nancy Beaumont received letters supposedly written by Jane, claiming the children were being held hostage. Jim waited at the designated drop-off for 6 hours, but no one appeared. Decades later, fingerprint technology proved the letters were a hoax written by a teenager. As criminal profiling improved, detectives focused on Derek Percy, a convicted child killer who fit the composite sketch. When interviewed, Percy admitted he was in the area that day, but claimed his memory of the afternoon was a total blank. Then there was Harry Phipps, a wealthy businessman. Phipps lived walking distance from the beach and had a documented habit of handing out 1-pound notes to local children to watch their reactions. While the public search focused on psychics and ransom notes, credible, localized suspects like Phipps and Percy managed to hide in plain sight for decades. In 2007, Phipps's own son came forward. He claimed that as a boy, he watched his father bring the 3 Beaumont children into their home. He never saw them leave the house. Geography made it plausible. The Phipps home was just 300 meters from where the children were last seen. A short drive away was his factory. 2 men stated Phipps paid them to dig a massive hole there the exact weekend that children vanished. These converging accounts transformed an abstract mystery into a singular, physical target. For the first time, investigators had a specific site they could actually excavate. Law enforcement mobilized. They tore through the factory floors in 2013, returned in 2018, and launched a final, privately funded dig in early 2025. They reached the 1966 soil level and found ground disturbances. They uncovered animal bones and hardened sand. But once again, they found 0 human remains. The primary suspects, Phipps and Percy, are both dead. Nancy Beaumont passed away in 2019, followed by Jim in 2023. They spent their final decades outside the public eye, having never learned what happened to their children. The Beaumont case remains a static point in Australian history. Even with 6 decades of public focus and the arrival of deep soil forensics, some secrets remain exactly where they were left in 1966.